Have you ever stopped to really look at a word? I mean, really look at it? Because today, we're going to crack a linguistic case that's hiding in plain sight, and it involves two words that you probably use all the time. Okay, let's get into it.
So, get this. On the one hand, you have the word transfer. To move a file, to move money. At its very core, it means to carry across. Simple. But then you have translate, to take words from one language and put them into another. And its core meaning? Yep, also to carry across. They mean the exact same thing.
And that is the big mystery, isn't it? How in the world did we end up with two completely different-looking words that are built on the very same idea? Well, the answer is way weirder, and honestly, way cooler than you might think.
To solve this one, we've got to hop in our time machine and go way back. The scene of the crime? Ancient Rome. Because the source of this whole puzzle isn't two different words. Oh no, it's one single, very, very strange Latin verb.
Everybody, meet our culprit, the verb ferre. This little guy is the Latin word for to carry, or to bear, or to bring. And believe it or not, this one verb is responsible for both the fer in transfer and somehow the lat in translate. So how does that work? Well, let's just say ferre didn't exactly play by the rules.
Here's where things get really weird. This verb had a total split personality. If a Roman wanted to talk about carrying something in the present tense, they'd use a form of ferre. But if they wanted to talk about having carried something in the past, they would suddenly switch to a completely different, unrelated word, latus. Yeah, the present and the past tense came from two totally separate roots. And there is a fantastic name for this. Linguists call it a suppletive pair. It's basically when two totally unrelated words get mashed together to fill in the gaps for a single verb. They literally supply the missing pieces for each other. It's kind of like a linguistic Frankenstein's monster, and it's awesome. To give you a sense of how odd this is, just imagine if in English we said, I carry the groceries today, but yesterday I blot the groceries. It sounds completely bonkers to us, right? But for hundreds of years, Romans used ferre and latus together, and nobody batted an eye. It was just normal. So, this bizarre partnership in Latin created two totally distinct families of words in English that both secretly mean to carry. Let's start our investigation with the first side of the family, all the words that came down to us from ferre. First up, the most obvious one. You take the prefix trans, which means across, and you add our root fer, to carry. Put them together, and boom, transfer. Literally, to carry across. Makes perfect sense. But check this one out. The word suffer comes from suff, which is just a version of sub, meaning under, plus fer, to carry. So to suffer, etymologically speaking, is to carry from under, like you're bearing a heavy weight or a burden from below. What a powerful visual origin for that word. And this one is just beautiful. The word different comes from dis, meaning apart, and fer, to carry. So things that are different are things that have literally been carried apart from one another. I love that, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. Okay, so we've seen the fer side of the family. Now let's pivot to the other side, the one that looks totally unrelated but is secretly its twin, all the words that came down to us from latus. And here we go, the big reveal. We take that exact same prefix, trans, for across, but this time we tack on the other root for to carry, which is late. And what do you get? Translate. To carry across. It's the identical twin of transfer, just built from the verb's other half. Mind-blowing, right?
And it doesn't stop there. Think about what it means to relate a story to someone. You're taking the prefix re, meaning back, and adding lat, to carry. You are literally carrying back the information to someone else. You're building a connection by carrying that story between you.
This is another great one. Leges is just the Latin word for law. So to legislate is to carry law, to bring it forth, to propose it, to bear it into existence for everyone. The hidden meaning is right there in the open. So, okay, we've solved the case of transfer and translate. And you might be sitting there thinking, well, that's a neat little quirk of some ancient dead language. But here's the twist. This isn't ancient history at all. That's right. This bizarre habit of stitching completely unrelated words together to make a single verb, well, it's something we do in English all the time, every single day, and most of us never even notice. I mean, think about it. The past tense of go isn't good, it's went.
And went originally came from a totally different verb to wend. Or when we compare things, we don't say something is gooder, we say it's better. Good and better have no historical relationship. And don't even get me started on the verb to be. Am, is, are, was, were. It's just a chaotic jumble of at least 3 separate ancient roots all thrown together. Our language is just as beautifully messy as Latin ever was.
So, I guess the big takeaway here is this. Languages aren't perfect, clean, logical systems that were designed by some engineer. They're sprawling, messy, living things that have been patched together over thousands of years. They're full of weird quirks and historical accidents and absolutely fascinating stories, like the secret family reunion of transfer and translate. And that's exactly what makes them so much fun.
You know, there's a quote from an old Roman statesman that says, "Each person is the maker of their own fortune." And in a way, that brings this whole thing full circle. Just as we have to carry or bear our own destinies, language itself has been carried forward and made and remade by every single person who has ever spoken it. It makes you wonder, what part will we play in shaping it next?